MMA fighting here at UFC Phoenix Media Day, speaking with Francis Ngannou, who headlines the show on Sunday against Cain Velasquez. And Francis, my first question I have to ask, can you explain what you are wearing? This is incredible.
Well, I'm wearing very traditional African clothes, it's for noble. So we used to wear this in Africa. And since I'm since I'm Africa's son and one of Africa representing, I have to wear this. Also to remind people, UFC, that they are somewhere in the map named Africa. They should think about the event out there.
Oh, so this is all a long game, a long ploy to get this event in Africa, this UFC Africa show.
This is
all to get the UFC Africa show. You're slowly chipping away on it.
No, we want that. I mean, we deserve it, man. We are well representing Africa. We are a great fighter in UFC, great fighters. So it's time for us to have what we deserve.
Well, you look incredible, man. I have to ask, you just had your first face-off with Cain Velasquez, I think, so far in the lead-up to this fight. It was very friendly. I was surprised by that. What did you see when you were looking in his eyes?
No, this fight is not like we are no enemy. I mean, I'm his fan. Kind of like his fan, So I love what he has done for the sport. I love how he makes his career. Also, I think that might be why I want to fight. I wanted to fight him since a long time ago. Just to say that, okay, a guy like this, if you're gonna fight against him, that means you are in the top. And then also, if you win, it still means a lot. If you want to be a great fighter, you have to face the greater one, and maybe be the greatest one later.
Well, it's interesting, man. In the lead up to this fight, you have spoken a lot about the challenges that you went through in 2018 and how it made you grow, both as a fighter and a person. I just wonder for you, do you feel like you almost, now in retrospect, having done that, do you feel like you needed to go through those challenges to become the fighter that you can be?
I am the fighter that I'm be. I am a fighter that I can be. So the only thing is like, okay, I might have something to learn, and then sometimes I might overthinking about stuff. At the beginning, this for me was just fun. I remember when I went to the MMA gym the first time I trained, and then I was just happy. I didn't want to do MMA, but I kept going because it was fun, So I just go there for fun. So I never took it seriously, like, okay, this is a professional thing. At that moment, And then it felt like at some moment I kind of forget that. That fun part of it, that pleasure that I had to fight, and then let myself drive myself in some spot with a lot of pressure, and then we change who I was, and I kind of just being the man, and yes, and then what happened after what happened to 2018, I tried to step back and then just decide to be me. No, not there to please people, not there to do what someone like. Just please me first, and then if I can please others, by the way, it will be great. But me first, it's my life, because the end of the day, when I will make the statement, I was like, by the end of my life, I was like, well, I did it great, or I did it wrong. None will be there to say, yes, it was my fault. Everything will be your fault. So at least you enjoy it your way.
Well, you told me earlier this week that this is a dream fight for you, and you even said earlier in this conversation that you were a fan of Cain Velasquez, and you still are a fan. I wonder, does this fight mean more to you in a way because of that, because of how long you have looked at this man, and sort of the history that you have personally with Cain?
It's not like It's not like personal history. I cannot say that, but yes, this fight mean a lot. I mean, this the fight that I'm going there. I think, more like happier than maybe another fight, just because I get the fight. Yes.
Cain as an opponent, how do you view him? How do you assess him? Where do you feel like he is strongest in the game?
I feel him like a most dangerous fighter, and then I think that's why he became my target. My target, you know, like you need to be the. If you want to be the king, you have to be the king.
I like that. And earlier this week, I mean, your coach over here to your right, Ferdinand Lopez, he told me that you have become obsessed with grappling. This was the words that he used, that you were a crazy lover of grappling over the last 6-8 months. Is that true? I'm just curious.
Yes, it's true. Sometimes I feel like, am I like grappling than striking? But still, I love striking. I'm good at it. But you know, like when you're kind of like trying to catch things and trying to understand, and then you get more excited about it. So that's exactly what's happening right now. Sometimes I just want to roll in the mat, you know, and I want to strike because it's kind of like bored to always control, always be the one that, you know, never have a real challenge, adversity. So then I kind of like switch, and it's cool. And when you realize that you're understanding something different, some new thing, you kind of like get excited about that.
I mean, you still are so new to this game, and Ferdinand said basically that he has seen the switch flip in you where things are making sense now, where you're understanding why you're doing things as opposed to just doing them because, you know, you're supposed to do them. Have you sensed that within yourself, that sort of some switch has flipped in your mind where you're understanding this game just on a different level that maybe you weren't a year ago even?
Yes, of course. As I said before, 2018 for me was a learning process. I didn't know what I was doing exactly, you know. And then at some point I lost the purpose of doing this, you know. And then after all what happened, I stepped back and redefined my target, my goal, and then, you know, like, you know, sometimes it's kind of like, okay, you have to remind that you have a life, you know, fight is just a part of it, it's just a job, it's just a pleasure, you know, something like that. You have a life, you have to run them together, and then you have to, you know, mix in, and then don't let someone take over someone.
Well, then, final few things. We talked a little bit about Africa at the beginning of this, but it is quite crazy. I mean, Israel Adesanya, he's the #1 contender in the middleweight division. Kamaru Usman is about to be fighting for the title. You're here headlining the first show on ESPN. Do you feel like this is the beginning of a golden era for African MMA?
Yes, for sure. I mean, he has begun since, but they didn't realize.
I mean, all three of you guys have talked about bringing a UFC show to Africa. I'm just curious, man, for those of us who have not been there, can you describe what that environment would be like? Like, is there a real appetite for that? What would an event in Africa look like?
So the event in Africa will sensibilize. He'll make people know what is some people know what is MMA, because like today when I still go there, it's funny how you can see some people, they'll just watch a fight because they're like, there is a Cameroonian, there is our country guy. They're just gonna watch the fight. The whole country will about it. But sometimes someone still don't know exactly what is that, you know. But they kind of like getting excited about it because they have some guy there. And then now in Cameroon, they are talking all over. They are talking about MMA. So without know what is the rules, so without know what exactly it is. So they are kind of like new in it, and they are very excited, you know, to embrace that culture of MMA.
Well, hey, my final question for you. Last time Cain Velasquez, 8 years ago, he debuted a broadcast deal. It was the Fox show. He lost within.
Repeat if it was what you're gonna ask me.
Yes, not even. Just how does this play out on Sunday? Can you replicate that?
Yes, I win the fight by knockout.
Hey, let's leave it at that. Thank you so much for your time, Francis, and good luck this weekend.